Chapter 95. Let's Scram. Jia Yishan casually tied up her long hair and grabbed a handful of dust from the small dark room. When the door opened, she scattered it over. She attacked quickly and went up to beat him up. There was no greeting, no technique, just a beating. One punch after another. One kick after another. The 5 people were beaten until they had no room to retaliate. Jia Yishan didn't use too much strength, but she hit the spot precisely. With one punch, the other party's entire body went numb, and his reaction became slow. How dare he knock her out? How dare he lock her up in a small black room? He dared to cover her. Wouldn't that be asking for a beating? 10 minutes later, the 5 hooligans were all beaten out. Jia Yishan stepped on the back of one of them and looked down at the 5 people in front of her. Tell me, why did you call me here? The 5 of them looked at each other without saying a word. They had already been beaten black and blue. Did they have to say that they were here to kidnap her? Wouldn't he be beaten to death? One thought of Jia Yishan's fist, and the hair of the 5 people stood on end. The one lying at Jia Yishan's feet directly pretended to be dead, and the mouth muttered, "Can't see me, can't see me. If you don't say anything, they'll punch you all again." Jia Yishan rubbed her fists and prepared to beat him up. One of the big bearded men stared at the other for words and could only whimper. We just took orders from the underworld. The list requires us to sell you and return what? He even told us to keep an eye on you and told us to sell you to any man and have a baby with you. You'll stay in a remote area for the rest of your life and can't leave Sea City. This order has a higher requirement. If it weren't for the generous reward, we wouldn't have dared to accept it. Who placed the order? Jia Yishan had heard their conversation earlier, so she asked again to see if she could get more information. Big sister. No, my lady. We don't know who the employer is either. There's a specialized intermediary who transfers the orders from the underworld to us. Jia Yishan stomped on the hooligan's foot with all her might. She could almost hear the hooligan grimacing under her feet. Really, I'll send for. The big bearded man was scared of being beaten out. He said weakly, "Boo-hoo, we're also trying to make a living. Can you let us scram now?" As they spoke, the few of them carefully moved towards the door. Jia Yishan moved her foot away from the man's back and slammed it on the ground. Just flew into the air. Did I let you go? Idari not. I dare not. What other instructions does the great aunt have? Where is this city? The hooligan who spoke was beaten up by Jia Yishan. Nonsense. I didn't know this was Sea City. If you don't answer, you'll be beaten. A quick-witted hooligan immediately said, "No. 876 Chengbai Road in Sea City is an old factory's workshop. Do you need me to send you back to the airport?" Jia Yishan glanced at the smart hooligan. "Lead to a." Okay. The 5 hooligans rushed to lead the way for Jia Yishan. They were willing to do anything as long as they could get this big Buddha to leave. Before they stepped out of the small black room, they heard a lot of noise. Before Jia Yishan and the 5 hooligans could see what was going on, a group of men in black rushed in. The man in black held a gun. Don't move. The 5 of them were all from the underworld. They usually took orders to bully the weak. At most, they would carry knives and daggers with them. They did not expect to encounter someone with a gun. All of them are so scared that they raised their hands. Only Jia Yishan didn't have any emotions on her face.